Hey guys, Kaishi Nico here, and this is a deck profile of my Blaze Fenix OTK deck. Blaze Fenix is a fusion monster that's coming out in the premium tin. That's what it does is you can do 300 damage to your opponent for each card on the field. So basically the OTK is to use Chain Material and Fusion Gate to get Blaze Fenix onto the field, really easily, and then blow up your opponent by, doing damage to their life points. So the way I built it is a little bit different than some other builds, but they all focus around Fusion Gate and Chain Material. So here's what I did. Right now I have proxies, so just bear with it. 2 E-Hero Avians. It's got a little E-Hero engine in it. 2 Burstinatrix. 2 Clayman. And 2 Bubbleman. That's it for the E-Heroes. Then I'm using 2 Broww because I use Dark World Dealings. So I discard Broww. With Dark World Dealings I get to draw another card. 3 Cyber Valley, basically for the stall and for the draw power, and because it's a machine and Blaze Fenix needs 1 machine and 1 pyro type monster to be fusion summoned with. 1 Morphing Jar, again for the draw. 3 Swift Scarecrow for the stall power, because I could just discard it from my hand. It's better than Battle Fader, and so I can discard him from my hand. He goes right to the grave, and I end the battle phase. And he's a machine, so he's good also to help bring it out. And for the pyro monster, it's just 3 Volcanic Shells, because they're the pyro monsters, and they have a cool, I like them. It's a cool little card. You pay 500, get another one back to your hand when it's in the grave. So now for the spells, it's 3 Dark World Dealings, 3 Fusion Gates, the main card of the deck. Heavy Storm, 2 Terraformings. Only reason why I use 2 and not 3 is because sometimes I'll get a hand with either a Fusion Gate and a Terraforming, and then I'll play like Upstart or something, or I'll draw for my next turn and I'll get another Terraforming, and so having 3 kind of gets annoying, but having 2 works. It's like having 5 Fusion Gates in the deck. And 3 Upstart Goblins. I've actually played a game where I used all 3 Upstarts, and my opponent was at 11,000 health, and I was still able to beat them. So it's pretty fun. Now for the traps, it's 3 Chain Material because it's needed. This card is anytime you would fusion, when you activate it, anytime you would fusion summon during the turn, you get to use the materials for the fusion summons from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So even if you discarded the Swift Scarecrows, you could still use them if they're all in your grave. And you can't attack the turn that you activated the card, and the fusion summon monsters get destroyed at the end phase. But you don't need to wait until the end phase to destroy, get rid of them. You don't need them. They're not going to be on the field. I mean, they're going to be on the field the whole turn, and you're not going to have to end the turn before you kill your opponent. 1 Dark Bribe, basically spell and trap hate. In case I go to start doing stuff and they decide to Solemn or Judgment or Dark Bribe, my cards, I can counter it. 3 Dust Tornadoes. I can't find 2 other Dust Tornadoes out of my thousands of cards. I found 1, so I have to get some. But 3 Dust Tornadoes, basically you set the Dust Tornado, activate it, destroy their card, use its other effect to set Chain Material. You do it on your end, on their end phase, and then on your standby phase or draw phase, you can activate Chain Material. So now on your turn, you can play Fusion Gate, and then go for game. And finally, 1 Solemn Judgment. Same thing, Solemn Judgment. You gotta have it in the deck. For the fusions, it's again, these are proxies. 3 Blaze Fenix, the main card of the deck. This is why the deck is built. 3 Electrum, E-Hero, Elemental Hero Electrum. Basically, what he does is when he's fusion summoned, you get to return, both players put all remove from play cards back into their decks. So then you can recycle Blaze Fenix, because decks has a parentheses around it, so it means all decks. It doesn't just mean your main deck. 2 Rampart Blaster and 2 Absolute Hero Zero. The reason why I chose these was just because I like them. And Absolute Zero, what I usually do is I'll bring out the E-Heroes first. So because Phoenix has for all cards on the field, so the more cards on the field, the more damage it does. So I'll bring out Absolute Zero. If they do have a bottomless or something, they'll use it on the first monster, of course, and then which will leave me open so that I can now bring out what I need to bring out to still kill them. I did play a game where a guy had 3 monsters on the field, and he goes to bottomless trap hole my Absolute Zero because he didn't know what I was running. So he bottomless trap holes my Absolute Zero, which destroys all 3 of his monsters also because Absolute Zero leaves the field. And then I was still able to, he still had 2 set cards. I brought out Rampart Blaster. He didn't do anything, so then I went into Blaze Fenix and then did the Blaze Fenix combo and killed him. So basically what you do is, I'll show you a little bit how the combo works. You just get Fusion Gate on the field, and then you activate Chain Material or activate Chain Material and then play Fusion Gate. Doesn't matter. The first thing I usually do is I go Bubbleman and Avian to go into Absolute Zero. So even if my opponent had no monsters on the field, I would have Fusion Gates, that's 1 card, and Absolute Zero, that's another card. So that's 2. And then I'd remove from play, out of my deck or out of my hand, either one. I'd remove a Clayman and a Burstinatrix, and then which goes into Rampart Blaster. And then I would remove 1 Swift Scarecrow or Cyber Valley and a Volcanic Shell to go into Blaze Fenix. Let's get the cards out. There it goes. To go into Blaze Fenix. Now that's 4 cards on the field. If they didn't have a card on the field, or let's say I had Solemn down, and they had a monster on the field, and that was it. Because I would have gone second to activate Chain Material. Obviously, I would have had to have a turn. So let's say they had 1 monster on the field, and I'll represent it with, let's say it's Zenmains. So they got a Zenmains on the field. Now that's 5 cards. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards on the field. So Blaze Fenix activates. That's now 1800 damage. So with 1800 damage, I then would go Blaze Fenix because it is a Pyro type monster, and another Swift Scarecrow. I can go into another Blaze Fenix to do another 1800. Then do the Blaze Fenix and another Swift Scarecrow to go into the final Blaze Fenix for another 1800. Now, what I would do now is take out the last bit of my materials, which would be Bubbleman, Clayman, Burstinatrix, and Avian, and go Electrum. Here, let's move that over. Go Electrum. So now that with Electrum, I shuffle all of these cards, including the fusions, which would be Blaze Fenixes right here. Oops, not that card wasn't there. Okay, Blaze Fenixes right there. They go back into the extra decks, and then now I would do it all over again. I use Blaze Fenix. Now I can use Blaze Fenix and then go into Blaze Fenix, and then Blaze Fenix and go into Blaze Fenix, and that'd be 2100 both those times. Or I can just do the the Swift Scarecrow or the Cyber Valley and Volcanic Shell to bring out Blaze Fenix. To do with that one, that'd be 2,400 damage, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 monsters, 1, 2, 3, and 3 other cards, which is 8. So 8 times 3 is 24. So you do 24, and then if they still had more life, you can remove this one, bring out another Blaze Fenix, which is the final one, and go into that. But if they had if my opponent was at like 1100 or something, I'd probably do the Blaze Fenix, remove it as material for Blaze Fenix to, do this is 21, remove it again to do another 21, and then go into another Electrum to do it one last time of removing and then playing another Blaze Fenix. So that's how the deck works. It's pretty fast. There have been I've played it a couple times, and there was a game where I was down to about 2,300 life points, and I still was able to beat my opponent because I was finally able to get all the cards I needed. And that was the one where my opponent had 3 monsters on the field, and he bottomless trap hold my absolute 0, which is pretty funny. But yeah, so that's how the deck works. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, do whatever you want to do. My eBay link is down below. It's got I've got cards up there for sale. This Zen Mains is up for sale, so check out my eBay page. It might not be there, depending on when you're watching it, depending on if it's sold. But as of right now, that I will be putting that Zen Mains up for sale. So check out my eBay page. Thanks a lot.